I'm Jeff Allen Wolf. This is A World Gone Mad. Hello, Wolfpack listeners. Now, for me lately, I'm sure a lot of you, every day is a struggle. So I'm going to speak for myself, and if you align with what I'm saying, and you understand what I'm saying, then you'll get it. I wake up each day, see what I need to accomplish that day, and I realize, holy crap, this country is so screwed up. We are in a downward spiral, heading in a very bleak direction because of this piece of garbage sitting in the White House. And what makes it worse, and I'm stating the obvious, the amount of supporters who still embrace this guy with ridiculous love. It's as if they've been brainwashed, drank some magic elixir, bad elixir, that rewires their synapses in their brain. How anyone can embrace a man who hates free speech, hates women, hates minorities, and wants to control the United States and the world is beyond me. Yet they're there, family members, sometimes friends, people we thought had a brain, people we thought who knew better, people we believed had common sense. And each time we read their online comments or see their memes or see their videos, we just look, stare, shake our heads, roll our eyes, and wonder how did they get this far down the rabbit hole? What demon is possessing them now for these people to go above and beyond to show this much idol worship to a guy? And the reason why I use the word guy, Trump's not a man. He's a guy who doesn't give a flying fuck about anyone except himself. Okay, I had to get that off my chest. And as I look across our backyard and look at our pretty flowers, I wonder out loud why we're in this situation and how the hell we get out of it. Now, with that being said, with all the people who listen to my podcast, why the hell haven't you joined Wolf, the organization? That was started a week ago for people like you, people who are against dictatorship, people who are against fascism. If that describes you, join wolf.org. You have to actually type that into your browser, joinwolf.org. Not just wolf, not just wolf.org, but join, Join, wolf, WOLF.org. Very easy, people. I expect to see more of you become members. This is a direct challenge to everyone listening right now. If you're not a member, why not? No excuse. It's free. It's fast to join. It's easy. Why aren't you a member? You can't come up with one excuse to tell me why you haven't joined Wolf yet. We have over 100 members now, and that's inside of our first week. Please, add your voice to our membership. Okay, here we go. Trump's damage is done. That's not a partisan talking point. That's the geopolitical weather report. The alliances that used to run on autopilot are now running on aspirin and anxiety, and nobody's fully sure which switches still work. You could see it in Washington, where Democrats are pacing the hallway like contestants who just realized the game board changed while they were asleep. You could see it across Europe, where leaders are smiling in public and quietly gaming out worst-case scenarios in private. The vase is already off the shelf. It already hit the floor, and now everybody's standing around arguing about whether the crash was loud enough to count. The real problem isn't just what happened. It's what's happening next. Because once trust between allies gets dented, it doesn't pop back into shape like a cheap soda can. It bends, It creaks. It makes every future decision slower and more cautious. Democrats are now stuck trying to reassure voters at home while simultaneously convincing allies abroad that the United States is still a steady partner and not a political roller coaster that changes direction every 4 years. And here's where the pressure really builds, because you can't sell stability with language that sounds like it was approved by 12 committees and 3 terrified interns. People don't want a memo. They want leadership that sounds like it knows where the ground is. Europe, meanwhile, is doing what Europe always does in moments like this: hedging, recalculating, and very carefully keeping its options open. Europe's increasing defense spending, talking more openly about strategic independence, and quietly preparing for a world where American politics remain volatile for the foreseeable future. It doesn't mean the alliance is collapsing tomorrow morning, but it does mean the old assumptions are gone. And once assumptions disappear, policy gets a lot more complicated. Because from Europe's point of view, the United States now looks less like a granite pillar and more like a weather system. Sometimes calm, sometimes stormy, sometimes changing direction overnight. So here we are. The damage phase may be over, but the uncertainty phase is just getting started. Democrats have to prove they can offer stability at home in a way that voters actually feel it in their bones. Europe has to decide how much it still wants to rely on Washington without pretending nothing has changed. And the rest of the world is watching very closely, because in global politics, confidence is currency. Lose enough of it, and suddenly everyone starts asking the same uncomfortable question: what if the old playbook doesn't work anymore? And once that question starts circulating in the room, it doesn't leave quietly. And if anyone in Washington still thinks this is just normal political turbulence, they're not reading the room. They're hiding from it. Allies don't recalibrate defense strategy for fun. They don't start whispering about independence because everything feels rock solid. They do it when confidence starts to crack. And right now, the world is stress testing the assumption that America will always be the adult in the room. Because here's the blunt truth, Wolfpack. Stability is not a press release. Credibility is not a slogan. And leadership is not something you get to reboot every election cycle like it's a frozen app on your phone. The world is watching. The clock is running. And the United States wants to keep the trust it spent generations building. If they want to keep that same trust, then somebody in charge needs to start acting like the damage is real and the repair job can't wait. Let me say a phrase that all of you have heard to the point of it's overwhelming to your ears, eyes, and brains. Ready? The Epstein files. The freaking Epstein files. Where do I begin? Speaking for myself, I'm sick and tired of this. We have millions of documents, videos, and photos. We have major questions unanswered. We definitely have a lot of guilty people that blatantly took advantage of underage girls, and they need to pay the price. Yet, a lot of Republicans don't give a shit. You know I'm telling the truth with listeners. Fact. Take a look on social media. Those Republicans, like their boss Trump, want to move on. They, like the Republican leadership, want to cover their eyes and ears and divert to something else, anything else. We keep fighting back against them verbally. I know this for a fact. I see a lot of you, the listeners. I see your posts. I see your Substacks. I see your memes that you post. Stop it already. Seriously, stop it. Enough. I've said it over and over before until I'm blue in the face. Stop it. Stop wasting your time with this. What we need that we can't control, we need the Epstein victims now to step forward and release the names of everyone involved. We need whoever has this information, whether it's the victims, the politicians, to release the names. Whether they're congressmen and women, they need to tell us what's in the files, who the guilty are, who are the nasty men and women who took advantage of these girls. We need accountability today, not tomorrow, not a couple of weeks from now, not move on. Nothing to see here. If I hear one frigging person say move on one more time, I'm going to punch myself in the face. Stop. I'm yelling out loud, stop. Someone, somewhere, in leadership, in Washington, better frigging do something right now. Put a halt to everything. Don't move forward on any bill or anything. Do not let up. And demand this information be released to the public. Because the midterms are not going to be the final nail or solution. The Epstein files being ignored and everyone moving on, this is going to be the final nail in our country's democracy. If we don't find out who are in the files and we don't hold them accountable for their actions, whether they're Democrats, Republicans, politicians, celebrities, sports figures, then we will never get back to where this country was as a full democracy. The time for arguing is over. The time for debating who's right, who's wrong, and what procedures should be done is past. The time is for action, real action, not talking about doing some action, but real action. I want the reporters, journalists, everyone else, the politicians on the Democratic side, to tell us who the perpetrators were, no matter how painful this becomes for the victims. The Democrats need to hold a hearing themselves where they're in control, not Jim Jordan of the Republicans, and release the names of all the men and women who did this evil damage to these underage girls. Hold this hearing, even if it's in a private hall that Democrats rent and it's not available in Congress. Get the cameras in, reveal the names of the powerful people, no matter how painful, no matter how traumatic. Reveal who did this garbage all these years. Wolfpack listener, are you with me? Are you out there, Wolfpack listener? I don't hear from you, so I don't know if you agree or disagree with what I just said, but it would be nice to know. wolfpacktalks@gmail.com. I've given everyone multiple opportunities to reach out with their thoughts. Some of you've done it. The majority of you listening haven't. Now is the time. I appreciate you listening to the podcast, but that's only half the battle, everyone. Your feedback. That's what I'm looking for. We, all of us, have a right to demand who the people are responsible for the Epstein scandal and not let go until it's done. I'm so tired of watching the news, reading the news, and seeing the same spin cycle over and over again. I want results. I want them yesterday, and I better get them. We need to purge this country of the morons, the idiots who love Donald, the anti-Semitic, the anti-women, the anti-gay members of our society. I want my country to be better. That's not a dream. That's not a fanciful hope from Jeff. That's a demand. Be better now. Listen up, leadership. We need to make a difference. And if you can't, then step the hell aside and let someone else take your place as a congressman or woman or senator so they can accomplish it. You can't do it, get out of the way. I'm here, and hopefully I provide you, the listener, with insights. I provide you with news, with no garbage, no spin, and no fake facts. I'm stressed out, and I'm tired, But I continue, and all I ask from you, the listeners, your support via email or text, wolfpacktalks@gmail.com. Please do me the courtesy and get back to me. And one last time, join wolf.org. JOINWOLF.org. And Wolfpack, that is separate from the podcast. This is completely different from you being a member of the Wolfpack, who some of you already are a member of. If you have any questions about Wolf, the organization, not the Wolfpack membership, the organization, you can email me. Don't write me and say, great job, Jeff. If I post something on the Facebook page, don't pat me on the back. Don't send me an emoji. Join wolf.org. I truly expected all of you who are listening to have already done that. I'll be back Wednesday. I pride myself in doing this podcast without bullshit, without fake anger, without phony headlines like a lot of the podcasts out there do, and some that you probably follow. I'm Jeff Allen Wolf. This is A World Gone Mad. Wolfpack listeners, at a time when truth is getting buried under lies, too many of the wrong voices are telling you what to think. It's time to take a stand. Be skeptical. Question everything. Don't lose hope. And most of all, stay alert.